Good evening, everybody. Unfortunately, this usual or unusual episode of Clockwise Thoughts has officially been canceled. We are going to bring you an on the reels production. With that being said, I would like to introduce our guest for the evening. We already know I am Black Man. Hey, how you doing, everybody?
Wrong cup,
My
my
boy
bad.
Scout, my boy Scout down there in the corner. Y'all already know him. Bringing to the table new that we have this evening. My sister Elizabeth. Elizabeth, good evening. Okay, we're gonna roll. Peace, love, and happy grief. Bam, we already know you, and that's all. That's all good and well. And Bree,
Me,
thank you again for joining us on this special occasion. With that
Oh,
being
no
short,
said,
problem, no
short
problem. Thanks for
notice.
having me.
very short notice. Thank you. With that being said, I know we're a bit late on the reaction to the Derek Chauvin verse, but I from the onset, I thought a guilty conviction wasn't even going to happen. But even with that being said, that's just the first step in this long murky process because now we move to sentencing, and with the charges that he's facing and the maximum time that he potentially could face, given what his record is, his situation is, I don't see him serving even a quarter of what he potentially could be facing. And I know you follow matters like this closer than I do. So I just wanted to know how do you feel about the verdict and what do you think the options are for sentencing?
Options are already set, man. The verdict itself, it is what it is, right? Everybody was clamoring about, yeah, justice, justice, justice. This isn't justice. This is nowhere near justice, first and foremost. But when we get to sentencing, please understand that sentencing won't happen for approximately 2 months, right? So verdict just happened. So we got about 2 months to wait till they figure out, what date they want to go through for sentencing and get everything set up. So former Officer Chauvin was what convicted on three counts. The
Yeah.
top count, I do believe it was
Second
manslaughter,
degree
but that only
manslaughter?
right, second degree manslaughter. But that only carries with it 45 years. That's the
Okay.
max. So out of those
Okay.
three sentences that he has, he's only going to get the max. He's only going to get 5 years. Keep in mind, this isn't a federal thing. If it was federal, he would have had what 465. He would have approximately had 75 to 100 years because they would have read all of them consecutively, not
Okay. So
concurrently,
okay. So
not at the same time for
so
most
so because
concurrent
this
concurrently.
isn't a federal thing, it's just a max out of
Right. So
whatever
he's only going to
the biggest charge he has.
the max
Okay.
out of
Okay.
the yep the max out of three. So out of that three, that's going to be that last one, that second degree, but that's only 45 years. But taking into account his background, his history, doesn't have any negative reprimands. His history is basically squeaky clean. He's only going to serve like 12 and a half years. So now this is the question: is that 12 and a half years enough? Is that what everybody, is that what everybody wants to see? We want justice. What do you define as justice? Or is this just accountability? But now, please keep in mind, even with that 12 and a half years, the judge already gave them grounds for an appeal. So that appeal process is already in the works. That paperwork is already going through. There was information that just got out to the defense the day of. So with that, you there are things that you have to take into account. Yeah, 12 and a half years is shitty, but it is what it is, sadly. You could be mad at him for not getting all 45. 12 and a half is solid, but even when you look at it, and this is another weird way to check it out, he may not even have to do the whole 12 and a half. He could
Yeah.
potentially do 6 and be out. So,
Yeah.
there
Like on that Amber Geiger thing. Now, with that being said, just be honest with me, man. Level with me. Are you afraid of the unrest that's gonna result in? Like, does it worry you as a
no,
member of the National Guard? Does it worry you that the streets are going to flip upside
it
down?
it doesn't worry me. What worries me the most is that people aren't listening and really seeing why the streets are doing the things that they do. Rioting is just really the voices of voices. Y'all gonna listen to us one way or another, but if you don't listen, then this is what we have to do to make you listen. I mean, so hey, once again, guys,
Yeah,
thanks for having me on there. I know
you got to be
this
heard.
was a short section, but I hope I gave y'all, something to think about, something to speak on later on. I will catch y'all later. Have a wonderful evening, everybody.
Thank you,
Gotta
sir.
go for.
I believe we just got joined by Tone. Tone, you there?
Tone, I need you to unmute your mic, sir.
Tone, there you go.
What's good? Can y'all hear me?
What's going
Yes,
on,
Mr.
man? Long
Soulhead
time, long time.
Production. What's going on, fellas?
Nothing much, nothing much, nothing much. I'm sorry you missed
Hey,
the original segment and everything, but we
I
kind of
did. My
discussing
bad.
the no, it's cool. We just kind of discussing even though I know it's late, the Derek Chauvin verdict in the George Floyd case, as well as the next phase, which is sentencing. What the possible breakdown of that is, and kind of what do you think the pulse is going to be in the streets when sentencing finally does come down.
You want my take on the
I mean,
sentencing? Okay.
I know that's a lot. I know I just hit you with a lot real quick,
No,
but
it's not a lot because I've digested this plenty of times. Okay, he's been found guilty on all 3 counts on some accidental murder shit and all this other stuff. But okay, cool. Now next is sentencing. They're only going to sentence him for one of those things, and I think the highest one is 20 years. And even if he does 20 with good behavior, he'll probably be home in 10. So is it really justice? We'll see.
now with that being said, I have to ask you this question: what do you think is going to be the overall reaction to this? Like, if like the way I see it is, if you thought people was mad before, you let them think that okay, things look like they looking upward just to kick the chair out from underneath them again, and it's like you do realize you just poking the bear repeatedly at this point.
Okay, I get what you're saying. People are gonna be. I don't know because people were so happy about the guilty verdict. Like it was a lot of people like that was like, yeah, he's guilty, but it's like there's another stage, there's the whole sentencing trial. And now you got to look at it like, okay, a lot of people was excited or happy or relieved that he was found guilty, but they don't know what comes next. But if it does come next, there will be some outrage. I don't think it will be as bad as if he would have walked or would have been found not guilty. But I think, marches will start back. I don't think it will be as bad as looting. I don't think looting would happen, but I definitely think that definitely protesting and marching and stuff like that would happen. But I don't think it would be as bad as it was before with, every major city in the United States was looting and tearing the city up and stuff like that.
I feel where you coming from on that because I had the same conversation with a coworker, and I'm like, the real cry was for him to be found guilty, but you never really heard anybody say anything as far as how long he should go away for. I was like, nobody said that he should be put to death, so that's not on the table. But as far as an actual sentence that people would feel like, okay, that's justice served, I'm like, I haven't really heard that. But looking at the situation for what it really is, like you said, and Reese said before you, the breakdown, it's like, yeah, when you look at it, he's really not going to do that much time. So is just the guilty verdict a way to appease the masses, or you know what I mean?
I don't know. I don't know if the guilty verdict was appease the masses because they did take it to a jury and judged by 12. So I don't really think it was like an overall collective for the jurors to be like, all right, we gotta say guilty or whatever. I'm pretty sure the evidence and everything in the trial pretty points to him being guilty. I think the charges were bogus. Like, you accidentally killed somebody. You accidentally murdered a man. You and 2 other cops with your knee. You was the one with his knee on his neck, said he couldn't breathe. Now you accidentally killed. If I put my hands around somebody and I choke them and they tell me they can't breathe and it's on video, how is that an accident? He's verbally telling me he can't breathe. How is that an act that like that alone is a BS charge? So the charges
But
would be
but the
so he
whole
can get
response
BS
is,
citizen.
but the whole nonsense that they gave was, if you could say you can't breathe, then obviously you breathing. I'm just saying that's how they look at it.
I'm gonna step in.
Please
was
do,
waiting
please
for
do,
you to do so. I'm just saying.
please
I
do.
don't let niggas talk. You know what I mean? I don't let y'all get y'all piece out. Tone, I rock with you. I disagree with you.
Okay.
I disagree with you. Let me tell you what's gonna happen.
I need popcorn.
Said I need popcorn.
Everybody on this room called us black.
Right.
We understand when the black people hear that he's getting less than he's supposed to get, because if you got 45 years, you know what I want them to do? Throw the book at your ass. Let me tell you why I want them to throw the book at your ass. Because if any one of us would have killed some white cop in the street on some bullshit, we would have been thrown the book at.
Totally agree.
So
Now wait. Now hold on. Wait. Now I want to interject real quick on that. I want to interject real quick on that statement. I agree with you on that, but for a different reason. On some seriousness, take race out of the equation. If you don't set a strong example when you have the chance, you open yourself up for nonsense later on. As bad as that sounds, you gotta be firm when you hand in these type of punishments out, especially in a situation where life is lost. You know what I mean? But I feel you that to some degree that book should come flying.
Yeah, but at the same time,
I-
it's not determined at sentencing how much they're going to reduce it if he has good behavior. That comes after. They can say, okay, bam, on this charge, you got 20 years. And we'll think, oh, he got 20 years, he's gonna be in jail till he like 60 something. But then next thing you know, 10 years later, oh, so-and-so Shivers or whatever his name is, he's getting out on good behavior. Then that's when we'll be like, hold on, what the fuck? Y'all say he had 20 years. Why he got 10? Good behavior. Like they're not gonna tell us that at the beginning. They're definitely not gonna tell us that at the beginning.
That's the power. That's the power of the pen. That's that power of the pen.
Look, I ain't gonna lie, cause I agree with you. But I'm gonna tell you why I'm not taking race out the equation. Cause they wouldn't take race out the equation. If I go outside,
I understand that. I understand that. I get that.
If I go outside and I kill a white boy right now, you know what they're gonna do? They're gonna fry my ass. They are going to fry me. I'm gonna be the Colonel's chicken extra crispy. Ain't nobody gonna
dark meat, white meat.
Ain't nobody gonna see me no more.
Hold on.
Hold on, Scout. Hold on, Scout. Let me get this out.
Go right ahead, and then I got.
Let me get this out myself.
Be my guest.
I feel like he should get the 25. We know he's not gonna get the 25. I feel like, I mean, as Reese said, he doesn't have a strike on his record. I feel like all of that.
And I know that's gonna play a big deal in it too.
I feel like all of that should go out the window. You know why? Like my mama said when she used to ground me for doing something. You do the crime, you got to do the time. No matter race, color, creed. If your ass kill somebody, it is on camera, bro.
I understand that. I get that.
I am watching the closing arguments because you know this is all over CNN. All the news. The only thing they kept showing when his little lawyer was trying to close their little argument is every angle that he was choking this man.
Wow.
And I quote, if you can talk to me, you can breathe. You're breathing just fine. No, you dumbass boy. Because I was about to get in my bag.
Please don't.
No white
Please
people.
don't.
No,
please don't.
No white
Please
people.
Don't.
No
Please
people of the caucus would of the Caucasoid persuasion. Just because I can talk to you and tell you I can't breathe, I'm using the last bit of air that I have in my lungs to tell you I cannot breathe. Therefore, you should know to relinquish my neck. I'm all right with you arresting me. Just let me get up.
Right.
But because we are black people and they already fear us, this has been going on since the days when Rodney King was getting his ass beat.
Wow.
You feel me?
Okay. Scout.
How many more people got to get murdered before we give somebody a real sentence? If they let this man, if they let this man go, let me tell you what's going to happen. The police that killed Dante Wright, she ain't gonna be worried about nothing, cause she feel like
well, apparently she worried because LeBron sent out a tweet and she's on some sort of emotional distress, but we'll get to that later.
No.
Scout, hold on, Scout. You wanted to come in on this?
No. Hold
on, Scout. She should be worried, but what I'm saying is, if they don't give him a fraction of the time, and if he's supposed to get 45 years, give him 30 and let him do the whole 30, because that's going to send the message to everybody else saying that, look, y'all can't just be out here killing these people because y'all are afraid of them.
That sounds too right, though.
This has been going on since we were considered 3/5 of a person. But I'm just saying.
Yeah, I was just about to say that it goes back into the perception of black people. White people, for some reason, of course, the white privilege, think that they're above us. When actually, I mean, I don't even want to go to the fact that says equal. Like, I really do think that we are the superior race. And I'm just prideful. I'm not saying that I'm, supremacy or whatever, but I'm prideful in my ethnic background. But if you look at it, if I'm out in the wild and I'm supposed to be taking down a animal, so to speak, if I have a deer or wild boar or any type of animal and I got my foot on his neck, I don't give a fuck how much it's complaining or whining or yelping or whatever. I'm not gonna take my foot off his neck, because at the end of the day, it's an animal. Like, when your perception of a black person or your perception of any person is not that of humanity, you look at us like animals, and that's what makes humans human. Humanity. You wonder why people go through so much and they still have the capacity to care. They still have the capacity to show compassion, because that is the humanity in us, because we look at each other as human beings. But when you don't look at a person like a human being, humanity does not exist in your head. So when he had his neck on George Floyd and he's looking at the people videotaping him, he's not worried, because he's not looking at George Floyd as a human. He's looking at him as an animal. Because if any other person, if it was his brother, his sister, another caucus person, or anything of that nature, he would have took that as, it would have been some type of concern, the same concern that was on his face when they said guilty, and that motherfucker looked left and right, and his eyebrows went down, and he was confused, like, the fuck you mean guilty? That same look would have been on his face when them people was like, he can't breathe, get off of him. That same look would have been on his face, like, oh shit, maybe he can't breathe. Okay, let me relieve the pressure, or let me get my knee off his neck and just restrain him from the shoulders, or whatever the case may be. But that's not how he perceived him in that manner.
That's a fair point.
I mean, like I said, I'm all for you taking the man to jail if he did something wrong.
Okay.
Well, hold on. Scout wanted to get in on this. Hold on. Scout wanted to get on. Go ahead, Scout.
Hold on. All right.
Scout so dramatic.
for the last 20 minutes, I sat here
Mhm.
and honestly listen to the same stuff we always hear. Well, in the Black community, this is what we hear. But
Mhm.
one thing that I ain't hearing is how in the world you think we coming across right now? The same thing what we done wrote on t-shirts, the same thing that we said they are doing to us. We sitting on this show and saying the exact same thing about that man, the way how we get treated. All you had to say is the following statement. Go back 2 years. There was a Black officer in Louisiana that shot an Australian woman through an alley when she was chasing the suspect. He's locked up 35 to 45 years in Gym Pop for shooting the wrong person. He had to break down the saying, Caucasoid, this and that. We don't got to be like that. Do I agree with y'all? Yes. But honestly, treating them the way how they treat us, or even showing that intention to treat them the way how we treat us, we become nothing less than what the heck they are.
Who said anything about that though?
No. Just hear me out. The way
Okay.
how it's being perceived.
I mean, Tone,
but
let him go.
No, I'm just saying, listen to me. The way how it be perceived, they gonna look at this and they gonna honestly say, it was a bunch of Black people just saying, hey, this white person should be this, and this. They brought up tacos. We don't gotta be like that. Because the honest given truth from the jurors, everyone else has seen it in the courtroom, whole entire deal. Yes, the man was guilty. He was guilty as soon as that video got aired. He was the only one shocked in the whole entire room. Do I agree he may not get his time? Because you want to know why? We've been saying it. The justice system been messed up. It wasn't written for us. When they say we 3/4 or quarter of a man, this has not been written for us or any other ethnic group. These rules was not written for us. But setting back and saying, oh, well, this and that, no. Because honest to keeping truth, if they honestly broke it down, the one signature on the Constitution was that 3/4 of a man that actually made sure the whole entire thing passed.
Mm-hmm.
Instead of sitting and bashing, look, we know we deserve respect because we go by that cardinal rule. To get respect, you got to give it. This man has totally been in the wrong. They're going to play their game and try to twist it to what we already know they're going to do. This is a racial issue. That's what they're going to break it down to. But me, I'm going to look at it like this. I ain't gave nobody the satisfaction of nothing. It's always earned. Because that's the way it's going to work in the end anyway. You got to earn it. If they treat this the wrong way, the same thing like how you brought up Bam Rodney King, the same way how Tone, you said it went back to the ancestors. They already know that's going to come. But look at the major point of it. Is anybody who we voted for up on that hill or in the presidential office saying anything right now about this case?
Of course not.
No.
Isn't there legislation being passed or in
Future
the works?
stuff, correct. Yes.
Hold on, Liz. Scout. You could play Martin Luther King all you want. You know my name tonight? Malcolm X.
Lord have mercy.
They go high. I mean, Michelle Obama said when they go low, we go high. No, I get down in the grass with your ass. I'm gonna meet you in the middle of the street and we're gonna fight like some dogs. Cause that's what you want.
Okay,
That's what you want.
I got a theory. I got a theory,
Mhm.
and this might be far fetched, but I think it might work if it's done right, because it would appease everybody. So the whole thing about this thing is racial equality. We don't get treated equal because we're black, but the LGBTQ LMNOP community got equal rights. Now, let's say if we take the same stance that they took to get treated equal, would pulling us over unjustifiably be a hate crime? Now, and if it's so a hate crime, what would be the sentencing or the punishment for said hate crime? Because I think that stopped a lot of, I guess, bullying or harassment towards that community. But if we take the same stance and fight for equal rights, however they done it, I don't know the steps and procedures to get it law to where if you unjustifiably wrong us as racial, could it be considered a hate crime?
See, the thing is, to do that, it would be such a general, it would be like such a broad stroke. In a sense, you would basically be telling law enforcement you can't actually police people of color. So therein lies to
I'm a,
to to
I'm,
to do something that large, you'd basically be giving free reign. And the crazy part is, even if you did do it, even if you did, then the next group of people would want their chance to run free, and it would just perpetuate a cycle of a lot of bad things happening.
It wouldn't be free
I'm,
because it wouldn't they wouldn't be able to police. They would have to justify their reasons of stopping us. They would have to justify the reason of pulling us over, running our tags, and proceed. But also, we have to do our part too, as far as complying.
No.
But
I
that,
understand that, but in a
mhm.
situation like what you're proposing, I kind of look at it like, I kind of think back to like the OJ case, not the one from the '90s, the more recent one, where they literally gave him the textbook definition of kidnapping, which is literally, you can walk into a room, tell somebody, yo, go from that corner to that corner. Technically, by the
Mhm.
definition, that's kidnapping.
Yeah, moving
And
them unwillingly.
they threw the book at him for that, because really you couldn't, you knew why he was there. You knew you could understand his frustration. So just
Yeah,
for the situation to happen like that, it's like, yeah, that would likely happen. They've already admitted to it, and we actually can, if we, it's not really stretching the I guess you could say the truth. It's like we could just eliminate all the interpretation out of it and just go by based on what the actual words are. And that's what I said earlier with the when you were saying, they could determine at a different time what good behavior is. That's why I said the power of the pen. It's like the rules are
I'm,
there, but as long as the rules can be changed midway through the game, you know what I mean? You
well,
never really are seeing a fair contest, I guess you could say.
in that
now,
sense, yes,
Tone,
they do need to change the pen because they need to specify what is excessive force, because like you said, that's a broad spectrum. So they need to
My
actually
question to you is
clarify.
this: what is resisting arrest exactly?
hold, hold
Like,
on,
if you
hold,
ask me a question and I refuse to answer, you get mad and want to stick my hands behind my back. Do I, like, again? What am I being arrested for? If I
they're
resist,
gonna
is that actually resisting arrest?
they're gonna classify that as resisting arrest. Tone, I'm gonna tell you why your theory don't work, right?
Mhm.
And this is just me thinking out loud. They gonna find so many loopholes for that one theory that you got, that it's going to go right back to the same thing.
But that's
I say put it
what
in
I'm
pen.
saying. They're gonna take the laws. They're gonna take the laws and they're gonna interpret them differently based on each
That's why I
situation.
said put it in
Some
pen.
some situations you gonna
No,
get
but
the
even
bare bone definition of the law. Some situations you gonna get someone's interpretation of the law.
no, but
You know what I
even what I'm
mean?
saying is, Tone, if they put it in pen,
Mm-hmm.
they're gonna still find some way to twist it and do what they want to do with it.
Well, that's
If
what them
you
people get paid a whole
if
lot of money
you
for.
if you specify, and I'm pretty sure all of us got some kind of structured background to where we had to follow some type of instruction, and it was broken down to where a teenager could understand it. If you take these laws and you break them down to mere incident, the only way they can get away with that is if they put a clause in there and say, if black, woo, 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 this, that, and the third, is going to be treated differently, in which that would be a hate crime. You can't say,
So,
okay, well, I pull over Chad because I suspect Chad to have marijuana and Chad resisted arrest, woo, woo, this, that, and the third. Like, you got to be specific. Like, pulled over Chad, smelled marijuana,
so,
searched his vehicle, woo, 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 this, that, and the third. He resisted arrest. These are the actions that you're supposed to take, da, 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 da. If you take the same actions with Chad and the same actions with myself, and we get two different outcomes, if everything was exactly the same and we get two different outcomes and it's written in black and white, it is no reason
That would
why.
eliminate wiggle room.
all right, Tom. You're in, you do music, correct?
Right.
I have dibbled and dabbled in the music, so I understand contracts to a certain degree. But we all know when it comes down to that fine print, and if you don't read that fine print with a magnifying glass and make sure you understand everything in that fine print, that creates the wiggle room.
Right.
Oh, yeah,
Who's to say that they don't put everything that we supposed to know in that fine print to create that wiggle room?
That's when it comes down to who put in office.
And that's what I was about to say. And that's also for us to learn the situation ourselves. You know, be more aware of, I get basically what our rights are.
Right.
Liz, you've been kind of quiet this entire time. I would
I was
love
just about to
if
say
you
that.
would.
I'm listening. I'm listening, but Scout looks like he is itching to get something out.
Ladies first. Be my guest.
No, yeah, I want you to speak. I'm
Miss,
still listening.
Miss, whatever this is, go ahead.
Yeah, no, but I'm listening because that was a mouthful, and I want you to get it out before you lose your train of thought.
Oh no. See, y'all talk about putting in pen. What the community did is they just written on to and they added on to the 14th Amendment. We did a show about it. Basically, if things need to be fixed, they went through the channels to get it added to the 14th Amendment. That's why we keep saying at the end of the show, stop using this as a hat rack. If us people of color want actually things change, stop using this as a hat rack. Stop downplaying each other. And actually, you got to force the change because everybody else has. Think about it. The 14th Amendment covers a broad spectrum. The unwritten rule of the Constitution. Will Smith and Netflix even did a show about it. 7-8 episodes. They broke every step from Booker T. Washington speaking about it all the way to the community now, just the past couple of years, getting it further amended. If we want change like how y'all are talking about, that's the only way. Because if it's written in that stone and it goes on that document piece of paper, it's no wiggle room. Zero.
Well,
I'm
that goes back to
But
Tone's
I
point of the
promise you, I know
disinformation
this is what
also.
you're
hold
gonna
on,
say.
hold,
It's gonna
hold,
go
hold
off the
on, Cuzzo.
Johnson interpretation
Hold,
of
hold on,
what we
Cuzzo.
was doing and if it was justified or unjust.
The what? I'm
And
sorry.
that's why we have to be like the lieutenant that got pulled over in Ohio. No,
I'm
we don't.
gonna say this.
Go ahead.
I'm gonna say this real quick. First of all, I'm hearing some kind of music in the background, and if you want this to be monetized, I need you to cut that thing, cause yeah, YouTube gonna strike you. But these people don't care about if these people don't care about if we know about the amendments, bro. They gonna do what they want. They been doing what they want. They been getting away with murder since they considered us 3/5 of a person. We could know everything we need to know, but when it comes down to it, they gonna find a loophole and watch the loophole. I mean, like we said, the loophole has already been presented.
Yeah, but you want to know why
they got evidence the same day, and they trying to crucify this Maxine Waters for saying what she said because they interpreted it the way they want to interpret it.
But
we know as black people that she meant we got to stay in these streets and let these people know that we mean business and we want justice. But they think she's telling people to go riot.
Well, the riots are quiet, so that's one thing I will say. You know, I mean, like the rioting,
that's because the riots ain't come yet.
Quiet, so
that's because
we ain't trying to riot in the first place. But that's the whole point. We're not trying to riot in the first place.
Wait a minute, you bypassing the one major point. You want to know why the loophole is? Go look outside. Honestly, you want to know what the loophole is? Open up your window, look outside. Turn on your television. You want to know what the loophole is? It's not enough people of color or minority that's willing, keyword, willing, to actually go down and do the right thing. Because you want to know why?
What's the right thing? I'm missing something.
No,
what's the right
when
thing?
I say the right thing, when I say the right thing, this is what I mean. Your legislation board. They're following the process of what they say is the due process. It's not enough people that's going to go to council meetings, town meetings, to get this stuff fully effective. Because you want to know why? We look at it as what we have been taught and what we've been given. Hey, man, if you got a hustle going on, don't knock the next person's hustle. You got to get it the way you get it. We thinking checkers. They playing chess. They been playing chess. So if you playing chess and everybody else is moving one little space at a time, and this dude is like, nah, knight to queen 3. We behind. And that's the thing, because you want to know why? Honestly. And I'll say this. Look at TikTok. Over 1 billion subscribers worldwide. But honestly, given the truth, look at the one in the US. We produce the most. But look at the Black creators on there that's doing anything. Smoke, Consciously, T. Nathan, I Speak 1906. Way over 1 million views. They ain't out here dancing. They ain't out there doing anything. You know what they speaking on? Same thing what we speaking on. But you know what they saying? Same thing what y'all been saying. I'm proud of being the color I am. I'm not going to be apologetic for anything what I'm saying. But it's a way of how to do it. It's not enough of us that's willing to do that. But you know what they find where the major loophole is? It's enough of us to hate on the ones that's trying to make the change, by saying, well, man, I don't even see why in the world you going down there. Or I don't understand why that little young girl got shot. The cop had the right of view of doing this or doing that. They will fight against a positive narrative to spin it for like how me and black men saying for weeks, clout chasing. Or just, hey man, I see that you trying to do something good and you got a little bit of spotlight. It's the crab in the barrel mentality. And they know that because you want to know why? They instilled it from the get. But us, a lot of us is too narrow-minded. Get out of that. That's why none of this ain't changed in so long. Because you want to know why? Look at it. Honestly, look at it. We had the numbers a long time ago. Before Harriet Tubman, Booker T, some of the stuff later in the 60s, the 50s, we've been had the numbers. But we would not come together to fix the narrative. And it's 2021 and we still won't do that.
All
but
right.
you know who will? But honestly, look at it. Because, Bam, you even said it. When Donald Trump said all that slick stuff, look what happened to the Capitol building. Look how many arrests that was made. How many people were shot and messed up.
Don't get me started on the insurrection.
But look what I'm saying though. Look at that situation.
Don't get me started on insurrection, please.
But honestly, look at that situation. Look at that situation. Even though the security guard that saved a lot of people's lives did get accommodated, the people that did it really didn't get harsh. They picked out a few. A few. It was more than 30, 40 folks up in there. Feet kicked up, chilling. But hold on. The police was there with mace, dogs, everything else. When we did a simple protest.
All right.
The difference is in the masses. But do you know what the main difference is? Our mentality.
So the fact that they were white, had nothing to do with it.
Not only that fact, the fact of our mentality. Honestly, look at it. We got some of the brilliantest minds ever doing space shuttles, everything else, all off the chart.
Scout,
would they ever give it $1 million credit?
I want you to table that thought real quick, and we gonna let the lady in the room speak. Miss whatever this is. Elizabeth, I know you've been itching. Go ahead.
No, I was gonna say I know mentality plays a factor. I do apologize. My internet has a mind of its own, but I do know that mentality, while that does play a factor, what I will say to the Caucasoids that did storm the Capitol, they definitely felt like their rights, which are solely their rights, were being, encroached upon. So they thank you, infringed upon. We know you went to school. So yes, they were being infringed upon. Okay, so they ran up in there. They did what they wanted to do. Why? Because the world has told them that Capitol building is for them. That Nancy Pelosi, albeit a Democrat, she belongs to them. So I get the mentality part of it. House than ever. I'm not going to say mentality is the biggest part of it. It's going to be the fact that they're white. Because I can't walk too fast in my bank without somebody getting nervous. I can't walk into my bank where I have my little coins at. So I can't subscribe to the fact that mentality is, a big thing in all of this. Now, can Black people come together? Could we do better about coming together and forwarding our agenda? Yes, but how does that look? Where does that start? Who starts that? This is not like, originally when we were using our churches as meeting places, coming together, we had actual community leaders. We get a lot of pushback, because here's the thing. Barack Obama was the first, Black president, if you will. And his agenda was not Black enough for the masses. And it was too Black for the whites. So you can't satisfy everybody, so I just want to here to forward this agenda,
that girl
who do you
preaching
look
good.
to forward your agenda, and how does that look? Because just because I'm black and I'm in office, that don't mean I'm handing out food stamps, dark liquor, and fried chicken every Friday. Because that, and I'm not passing out mayonnaise sandwiches and salt and pepper to the white neighborhood. I'm not doing that.
Mayonnaise sandwich.
Okay, so that being said, I just wonder how it sounds good in theory. It sounds very good in theory. Get together, push forward our agenda. But that also means that we have to support financially, I guess, when these black politicians, some of them could be a little crooked, just like the whites are crooked. We have to support their agenda, support them, get them into these places of authority so that they can reach back into their communities. I mean, I'm not going to say that it's a quick fix. Yes, sir.
Liz, I'm gonna steal a line from you. You know why this don't work?
Why does it not work?
We how you said, we protest per diem.
Yes, and that's another thing. We protest per diem. Or we have selective outrage.
But see, even with that being said, we protest, but we protest in a sense, in a way that's more of a temporary, a quick fix, a bandage on the situation. It's not like, to Scout's point, it's not a lot of people in a sense protesting to the point where they going down to their town hall and literally chewing out the mayor, the city council.
Agree.
It's not enough of that. But at the same time, I also understand that in certain situations it is kind of hard to sift through who really needs a helping hand from who just doesn't want to do for themselves.
Right. And I do like the idea. 1 second, light skin. I do like the idea of, going forward to the city. It's no different than being in the public school system. And when you have something it was called SAC. It was a SAC committee or SAC advisor. It was like school advisory council, something like that. I was in student government. So part of my due diligence was to serve at these SAC meetings. I saw the demographic of parents that showed up at the SAC meetings, and they did not look like our parents. It was a lot of the Caucasian parents, partly because some of them were just, I don't want to say invested, because my black ass mama was there for me at every step of the way. Housed than ever. I would bring home the agenda of what the SAC was going to talk about. And I think, not that it wasn't important, but one, I was there because I was in everything. So I was like, you don't have to go to the SAC meeting. I know what's going to be discussed because I was that type of student. So we don't have the engagement that we need. But what I will say to that fact, we as a people of color, we get passionate. So when we go to these council meetings and we want to talk and we want to express ourselves, the issue is, oh, she's aggressive. So now somebody is going to lose my message because of I'm the messenger. Because if you listen to the messages, they're all the same. The white people don't want certain things in their neighborhood, but they're going to say it in a really nasally kind of way, and it's going to be really safe. But when I tell you that I don't want that in my community because it does not benefit my people, and the inflection in my voice and my moving of my hands has now made you threatened. So now you're going to lessen my message or the validity of my message. So we don't get the luxury, I think, that some of the other people have. Because here's the thing, a white man can go to the council meeting, because I've been in a council meeting in my city, and the white man has lost it in there. And he was told to simmer down, Jim. Meanwhile, if Javante gets a little bit too loud at the council meeting, somebody gonna be looking for him. They're going to want him to sit down. They want him to stay in his place. So if we're going to go to the council meetings, somebody got to talk to the people. This is how you present, or you find you some, a body of people from your community. You know what? You're a little too aggressive to talk. So we're going to need somebody else over here who can present the issues of the community in a way in which they can be received well. Because you'll lose your message if your messenger ain't right.
But that's more of on us that's more of us organizing ourselves as a people before, to get the message, to figure out how to convey the message. We already know what the message is, but that would come more from actually trying to figure out how to convey. And unfortunately, I think a lot of situations, it is a lot of people just constantly complaining about the same issue and not really. It's almost like a commiserating group. You know what I mean? Not a lot of actual solutions, much less effort. To Scout's point earlier, is being put forward. It's more of a bunch of people just getting together in a sense to nag about things. Now, some things are beyond people's ability to really affect, much less understand how this system and its intricacies work. But you're right. It takes that type of action, and I mean, for the most part, it's not really a lot of that seen or shown, and it's almost like if you've complained this long that everything you're doing doesn't work, have you tried this way? You know what I mean? Type situation.
All right, because the both of y'all just said a mouthful, I don't want the viewers to get lost in the sauce. So do not get, I just pray that y'all do not get lost in the wordplay and listen to the message. Please. Don't be so enamored by the wordplay that you miss the message.
Well, I mean, at the end of the day, if what hits your ears is not something that you like, you're not necessarily going to be receptive to it. So that's unfortunately, that's going to come with the territory.
I
know we originally set out to discuss the verdict and the possible backlash, but we did kind of spill over into I guess you could say a form of healing or catharsis.
I'm saying all of this ties into the verdict though.
Well,
I got a question.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I kind of alluded to it earlier. Do we think that this verdict is going to be based on, and I forget her name, but the officer that shot Dante Wright?
Mm-hmm.
Potter.
Do we think what happens with Chauvin is gonna affect her verdict?
Well, here's the thing on that. The birdie that got whispered into the ear, that got thrown out into the air, which I'm not gonna lie, makes sense no matter how you look at it, was the jury intimidated by the pressures of society? You know what I mean? Now that's a viable question, no matter how you look at it. The jury wasn't sequestered in the Derek Chauvin trial, so they weren't literally isolated and locked off from the outside world. So they're still, receiving outside stimuli and influences that way. So I guess in that situation, it's going to look like, okay, hey, these people didn't necessarily get a chance to focus on the evidence and the facts specifically, but more of what the pulse of the nation is.
That makes a lot of sense. And the reason I just asked that question is because me and Ree were talking about this the other day, and he informed me that, one, she was training somebody on the day that she shot on Mr. Dante Wright. Secondly, she's a lefty. So she moved her taser from her dominant hand to her right side because he's a righty. So when she went to go reach for said taser, she thought the taser was on the, you know what I mean?
I don't believe that
shit. Is that her lack of knowing her left from her right? What are we doing? Are we justifying the man being killed?
No, I don't believe that shit.
We not.
She's a 20-year veteran. She's a 20-year veteran.
Liz,
she's a 20-year veteran.
I hear you, Tone. I hear you, Tone. I'm no way in hell.
Oh, I just needed to make sure, because see, me and Mr. Tone was over here having seizures at the same time, because I know you wasn't about to tell our grown asses who been knowing our left from our right for the better part of 20, 30 years that you shot me today because you didn't know your left from your right.
And
Because
that's
if
why
your
I think it's
brain
going to
is
be
that
different.
loose, I'm gonna need you to go and hang it up, sis.
That is exactly why the verdict is going to be different. Because even in the Chauvin case, like everybody up to the police chief was like, he was wrong. Everybody said he was wrong. His own police chief, the police department, the mayor, everybody. He was fucking wrong. But when you sit up here and the chief try to justify, like, oh, she don't know her left from her right, but she's a 15-year veteran with X amount of training. It's gonna be different.
Hold on, black man. Let me get it off.
It's gonna be different because I'm not gonna sit up here like I was saying earlier. If the rules are the same for everybody, then the outcome 9 times out of 10 is gonna be the same. If her police chief, if her mayor, if her people reprimanded her the same way he got reprimanded, then we'll probably have a more likelihood of her getting considered guilty. But for them to say up and say, oh, well, this is the reason why she pulled her weapon instead of her taser because it's on this side, and then she's left-handed, and she's this, and she's that, and she got this much time up under her belt. I'm sorry. I'm not going to be a forklift. If I'm a forklift driver, and I've been a forklift driver for 15 years, and I'm a veteran, and I'm training people, and if I lift up a goddamn cargo tank in a shipyard, and that shit fucking fall, and somebody say, oh, well, if the guy before me, oh, well, he's been in here, he's going to get fired, he's going to have to pay, he's going to have to do this. And if I say, oh, well, I'm left-handed, so the gear shift was on this side, but you've been driving forklifts for 15 fucking years, I'm not going for it.
So I agree with you. I'm just
don't talk, Courtney, because Mr. Scout is over there staring into the abyss.
Scout, hold on. Tone, I agree with you, right? But what I'm telling you is because we know what it is, you know what I'm saying? But what I'm telling you is this is the type of BS that they about to present. Oh, because she was left-handed. Nigga, I don't want to hear that. You kind of killed somebody.
Scout, you over there moving your neck like you about to fight. You all right?
Yeah,
I'm fine. I'm fine.
Yeah, you killed somebody on accident, supposedly, because you don't know your service weapon from your taser. Now, I've held a firearm. I've never held a taser. So maybe somebody can tell me the difference in the grip.
Okay, so Scout about to do that. Hold the line.
I'm going to disagree. And the reason why I'm going to disagree.
You're going to disagree with what?
I'm going to disagree on what y'all said about them presenting that evidence. And the reason why I'm going to disagree is the same reason why I disagreed on the show that me and Black said about this. And I brought up the facts. It don't matter which hand she was. That don't matter. She said she went for her taser. Taser butt stock is 2.5 inches shorter than her service weapon. Also, a green and red light comes on. It's been proved by many different law enforcement who, not to go back to TikTok, but showed on TikTok, hey, when I'm getting ready to discharge my taser, wait a minute. One, the buttstock barely hits the middle crease of your hand because it's that short. So you can only really hold it with your index in like this because it stops right here. When you point it to charge it before it gets ready to fire, green and red lights come on, pointing to where the taser piece is going to shoot out. Also, the other reason why I know it, because I've shot a taser. I've been hit by a taser because I was in an MP unit. Your service weapon handle goes all the way down to the end. So when they actually try to produce that and say, well, she didn't know which hand, she was on her body cam saying she went for her taser. Things then gonna happen, and I said it before on our other show.
I'll say that.
It don't matter what hand that you said you was gonna go for. It really don't. Them lights didn't come on, and then the other thing would happen. Normally, when a taser getting ready to get shot, they tell you, "I'm getting ready to take, I'm getting ready to take." Then they deploy it.
All right. We all know I'm a
it's yellow and black.
I'm a shit starter when it comes to this. So what I want to know is, should they throw the book at her ass? Should she fry like Kentucky Fried?
Okay. Well, I mean, here's the thing.
Sorry. I just want to interject. Sorry, brother. Hold on. So before we get to her, whether she's gonna fry or not, another thing that I think has to be looked at in how her case will be perceived, because I'm fair. If I think race plays a factor, I also believe that gender will play a factor as well, because she's a woman. So, and I don't know if she's a mother, because I didn't look into her demographic or none of that, because I'm not that. No, I'm not gonna do that.
I mean,
but
do we care if she's a mother at this point?
So it doesn't matter to me. What I will say is that because she is a woman, what her attorneys would do if they are worth their salt, which is what I want my attorneys to do. I want you to paint me as a dainty-ass white woman. Okay, I'm a dainty-ass white woman, and I work in a very scary job. He was a black man, albeit half black, because his mama is big and white. So, he was unsafe. Okay. I don't have an issue with white people. And let's be clear, white people are not bad. White cops are not bad. Just like all black people walking the street ain't exactly good, nor do they deserve to be killed. So I'm willing to see both sides of it. But it does not negate the fact that she is a white woman. She is America's prize jewel. Okay, the white woman brought counties to their knees. Google Rosewood if you think I'm lying. The lie of one white woman brought Rosewood, that neighborhood in Florida, to its knees. And not to say that this woman is lying, but I don't believe for 1 minute that this woman woke up and said, today is the day I'm going to kill somebody. I don't believe that for 1 minute. So I don't think she's a calculated murderer or anything like that. If nothing else, you were negligent as hell in respect to your duties and your obligations, because you got a firearm. So the same way a civilian has to go through a class and this, that, and the third, I don't care what side your weapon is on. I know adrenaline is a hell of a thing, but you know what? I've laid on the table and I've had surgery. So I don't want my doctor to tell me that adrenaline was rushing and the room was cold and you was a little nervous and you cut off my fucking leg when you should have really just been, cutting off my little piece of appendicitis. It don't work like that. And that in and of itself probably would not kill me. So the fact that you were so negligent in your position of power, authority, whatever, and someone died, it is only right that you are held accountable, period. Like, I'm not saying charge her with first-degree murder, because it's not premeditated. She didn't say last night, tomorrow I'm going to kill a man and pray to God he's black or lack thereof. So I'm not saying that. But what I will say, she does have to be held accountable, no different than if you, a civilian, you have a firearm and it is not holstered correctly, or if your child attains that weapon and kills himself or someone, you as a parent, as a gun owner, would be held accountable. So the same accountability that we are going to hold to civilians who are gun owners, I'm going to hold you even more accountable as an officer of the law. That no one told her she had to be a police. No one told her she had to work that day. And then you were training somebody. So are we training people to make these kinds of accidents, these kinds of oversights?
That's where we get rid of that's where we're trying to knock down the qualified immunity.
Hold on,
we're trying to be able to hold people accountable to the same standards that, every no one is above the law. So everybody, even those who enforce the law, should be able to be judged as equally as everybody else in the eyes of the law.
I see Tone over there itching. Tone, you look
I totally agree. I totally agree with everything she just said. I had a little rebuttal, but she kind of cleaned it up.
I see you over there.
I was gonna slam the draw foe equal rights card.
Oh, not the draw foe, not the draw foe.
I was gonna
you was gonna draw foe, hit me with a wow, hit me with a skip, reverse it.
Yeah, but I was
playing
just gonna say,
Uno,
you know,
Lord
like
have
you,
mercy.
like she
I got to
said,
draw two for that thing too. You understand
right?
me?
Like she said, nobody forced her to be a cop. Nobody forced her to work that day. She's training, so she has to be very vigilant in what she does. And it just goes back to, like she said, if her lawyers are, you know, like she said, worth the salt, they being paid, they're probably gonna try to swing it and say she's, you know, white female, woo, this and the third. But the rebuttal could be, hey, y'all fight for equal rights. Y'all fought for that. So when y'all put in an application for a man is the same as the application for a woman. Like if I worked at a warehouse and the application said, hey, can you lift 35 pounds? I don't want to hire you. And you say, oh, I'm a woman. I'm not able to lift 35. No, that's not the case. It's not what you signed up for. That's not
Now,
what you
see, the
signed
thing
up for.
about the thing about it though is Tone, like you were saying earlier, where her precinct, they were trying to explain away the situation from her perspective. Now, in the Chauvin case, you were right. Basically the entire country saw that, and everybody agreed that was wrong. To the point where I have no idea how you could even begin. Anyone could fathom jury intimidation. Like, how can you intimidate the jury if everybody agreed on the same thing? Like, that doesn't make any sense. But
Right.
in the situation, in the situation with the mistaken weapon, um, because you're kind of, I mean, I don't want to say split, because it's more like you got a lot of people that are angry and some people that are trying to be sympathetic, I guess you could say. So that's why I don't want to say split. I want to say some people are more people trying to be sympathetic. Um, do you think that that's gonna lessen the chance at an actual guilty verdict? There was negligence there, of course, but
I
It
really
depends on
do
what the
think.
charges are.
Yeah, I really do think. I mean, I think
now wait,
whatever
now wait,
you
wait,
get.
hold on, man. Before you even go any further, back, hold on. And I know this meeting is going long. It's been a great one, but hold on, I gotta back up. I gotta back up for that. Tone, you just said what the charges are. See, this kind of ties back into what we were talking about earlier.
Right.
At the end of the day, if you meant to draw your taser, drew your service weapon instead, bare definition, that's negligent. That shouldn't be arbitrary.
Right.
Even if you tried to convict the manslaughter and blah blah blah, you couldn't even do that. At the end of the day, bare bones, that's negligent. Now, should that negligent charge, should that be enough to convict? Because in the act of her negligence, someone's dead. Again, I don't know legal terms. I'm not really good with this legality, but I'm just saying, as far as common sense, as a baseline understanding, shouldn't that, to a degree, already be the end of the story? Because you admit you did something wrong while at work. If like Liz said, if your doctor does something wrong while at work, that's malpractice. That's negligence. So, is there even a point to really argue this? Have a trial, because that was apparent. Even in the same thing with the Derek Chauvin case, it was apparent the man was going to die based on what you were doing. You know what I mean? That was apparent. That's why you can press for the charge of murder. You had to know that cutting off his air to some degree for that amount of time was going to result in either severe brain damage, if not death. In this situation, you have to be able to admit to yourself, if I drew the wrong weapon and he dies as a result of it, granted, whatever the circumstances were that caused me to draw said weapon, because that's what they're going to argue. But I drew the wrong weapon, and as a result, someone is no longer alive. that negligence should be enough to convict. One would think.
I agree
But
with you.
is
Mr.
that
Scout got a
is
thought.
that
Wait a minute.
jury intimidation?
No, it's not.
You forget one thing, Black. You know why it ain't gonna be jury intimidation? She fled. She left.
Wait,
During
hold on.
proceedings.
Wait, hold on. Slow down, because I ain't know that.
This
She
is the
did
thing
what?
people are forgetting.
Wait, hold on, Scout. She did what? Say that again.
When your firearm is discharged as a police
Someone
officer,
has to collect it.
it has to be collected. You have to write up a report, an incident report. Me and Tone know what that is, the military incident report.
Mm-hmm.
Now, this is the other thing. She fled. It was nationwide news. She left the state during the investigation of why. During the investigation why everything was going on, she left. Marshals had to go get her. Her and her family left the state.
Hold on, Scout. Say that one more time. She did what now?
Once again, during the investigation part of the incident report, me and Tone knows it as CID.
Yeah.
Cops knows it as internal affairs.
Okay.
Where she discharged it and everything else, and the incident report was written up, internal affairs, she was being in a suspended window hold that cops do anytime they feel an unjust shooting is done. You are suspended. You do not supposed to leave the city, the state, nothing. Her and her family left. That's the part where people forgot there was news coverage. It was a small thing on Fox. And plus, I'm gonna say this. O'Shea Sharp said it. When she left, it ain't gonna be a jury who did not see. Well, if you ain't guilty or you're standing by your statement, why did you and your family leave the state? And the U.S. Marshals had to go get you.
Hold on, Scout. Chill out for a second, Scout. Because I watch a lot of Dick Wolf television, so I know you're not supposed to leave. And if you're not familiar with Dick Wolf, he does Law and Order. He does Chicago Fire. And Chicago.
Okay, we're not plugging television shows today.
No, I'm not plugging nothing. But I'm saying because of the fact that I watch these shows, I kind of know that you're not supposed to leave. Now, I did not know that she left. So automatically, number A, that makes you look guilty. And number B, I say whatever you get, they should give you the max automatically.
Okay, I'll interject. Sorry, only because you could look at this from both perspectives. So number A, you can look at it as though you can use, inflammatory vernacular such as fled, okay? Because that already paints the narrative. So you could see it from both sides. She fled the state that she committed, this atrocity, if you want to go CNN. Or what you can say is this police officer took her family and relocated them so that they would not be, collateral damage in what was going to be a major situation. Now, she probably could have called somebody, got them a Uber, got them a Lyft. I hear flights is flying, even with the Rona. So she could have put them on a plane and got them somewhere. She herself did not have to go. But I think one can say that she went with them, as means of extra protection, or as if she's a mother. I'm not a mother, so don't come for me. But I think as a mother, she probably felt like it was her, her job to secure her family, especially if she had small children. So I'm just saying we can also add that to the narrative, but I know this is beginning to tarry. And so, host, do your thing. Go and get a benediction now.
For real.
Well, I believe I've just been told to do my job, so let me get up off my butt and get to work. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to say thank you for joining us on this special edition. There was a lot of meat and potatoes.
I have a feeling we'll be back.
Yeah, there was a lot of meat and potatoes here, and to be truthful with you, I'm pretty sure that we gonna get some yays and some nays on this. So I'm interested to see what the comment section is gonna look like. I welcome all comments. I'm gonna be interested to see what they look like. But again, Tone, thank you for coming through. Super appreciate that, man. Super appreciate that. Bam, thank you as always.
You in the studio, bro?
Of course, I'm always in the studio.
I know. That's why I said thank you for coming through.
I need your email, sir.
Good Lord.
The long way around. Liz, thank you for your insight and your perspective.
You're
especially
more than
with
welcome.
the last
I'll
point
be sending you a bill, an invoice.
These things tend to
we
happen.
need an invoice for this right here.
My intellectual property comes at a cost. I have bills, and my stimmy ain't stimmying anymore.
Can you spell intellectual?
Give me a minute.
I mean, we can.
Hey Google. Scout, thank you for being here with us and
no,
keeping everything keeping things moving.
Pause.
I need an invoice. I'm not playing.
For the people who did not read the fine print of this Sets Greed meeting, we is not stimulating out a god doggone thing. We have sponsors and everybody else. Hopefully people will enjoy the show and keep it moving and pushing. Thanks, Tone, for your plug of Skullhead Productions. But like Dang Dollar say all the given time is that Clockwise Thoughts time. And hopefully you don't use your head as a hat rack. We love all of y'all. And we're going to keep it moving. Good night.
Scout, you know I ain't rhyme with that. Somebody finna send me something in my Zelle. Zelle app is real.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you, everybody, for joining us this evening. We hope y'all have a blessed one. We'll catch y'all next time. Good night.